Hello everyone, and welcome back. Like I've talked about in a few other videos, I had one coming up on a diesel heater that I had sent to me. And this was another one of those products that I can use. I have two big time uses for this, so I couldn't say no. One of them is I want to incorporate this as a backup heater or second heater into the fish house camper for when we're out on the ice, because they use such little fuel and so little power, and all I've heard is good things about them. So I mean, I've watched a lot of videos on these diesel heaters. Zachary has a diesel heater, and it's just amazing what it did heating his garage last winter and how cheaply it did it. So I said there's two things I want to do that for the camper. The other thing I want to do, and the reason why I'm kind of putting it together right now, is 4 days from now I'll be up to the tent. It'll be time for deer camp, and you guys watch the videos when I do the winter trip, and it takes so long to heat the tent up. It's not that that wood stove up there can't keep it heated. It does it easily, even at 30 below zero. You're chunking the wood in, but it easily heats it. But the time when I get there, it takes like a full 24 hours to get everything heated up, because you'll get your air temperature up, but everything else has to, thaw. All the wood is cold. Everything in there is cold. And I especially have trouble in the back part. You guys will see me hang the fans up to blow the hot air back there, and then turn it around to blow the cold air out of the bedroom, and just because, there's not really good circulation. I'm thinking that if I set this outside, where the back door to the tent is, if you're looking at the back of the tent, right to the left side, when you walk in that door, on the right side is the bedroom wall, so it's real tight there. But on the other side, I've got about this much room, and I've got a bench about this high that you can sit on to put your shoes on, but really all it does is hold bottled water right now. Anyway, the space underneath it, if I can run this, have this outside the wall, and run this through that wall, and I'm guessing that this is return air, whatever is return air and whatever is heat, I can have it just be running outside, because I don't like the idea of having to fill this up with diesel inside. You could take it out and fill it up and bring it back in. I kind of like the idea of leaving everything outside, and then having this blow heat into the back part of the tent. I'm guessing it's going to heat it up really good. So since deer camp is coming up here, it's a perfect time for me to test it and see how it will work. But I don't want to be unboxing this thing and figuring it out up there. I've got other stuff to do. So I thought, tonight let's come out and take a look. This is by SILVEL, at least that's how I pronounce it. And I don't know if the one Zach has is the same brand. I think it is, because they had the two types. They've got the one that's narrow and tall, and then they've got this shorter, wider one. I went with the shorter, wider one because to me it seems like it would be less chance of it tipping over. I realize it takes up a little more space, but I'm not putting it inside. They do make these where you can mount them right. A lot of people do it right inside their fish house camper. They mount them inside. I think that the fuel line goes outside, so you're not dealing with the fuel issue, because if you spill diesel, you always smell diesel. So and that takes care of all of that. And it's something like burns like 0.7 of a 0.7 of a gallon or whatever, and just like a really long period of time. And I want to test that out too and just see how it works. What does it cost to run one of these? So bear with me. I'm going to go through this and see what it has to say here, and then we can figure out how to fire it up. See, this is the kind that Zach had, the tall, narrow one. And this is the one that I have right here. Now you can put it in a truck, an RV, an excavator. So I mean, these really can run inside. I mean, you exhaust it out, but they don't show this heater in the installation details. I'm sure everything is covered. You know how it is when you're just figuring it out. But this shows one that's of a parking heater. I didn't get any other directions with it, so I'm going to have to say not real good on installation and putting it together. I've watched enough videos on these to know that you have to build them up off the ground because you've got to be able to get that exhaust, you know, bent and coming out and put the muffler on it. You know what? I'm going to have to go in and watch a video on this, guys. These directions are terrible. Alright, well, I went in there and educated myself, and now I know everything there is to know. Exhaust. This is the exhaust from the motor. This is the intake to the motor, which is just going to be cold, fresh air just for combustion. So all of this stays outside. And then we have an intake, and I need to put those blocks on here so I can do that. But we have an intake and an out up here. I'm hoping... See on this, I want to do the intake from inside the house or inside of the camper or inside of the tent, and I don't want this to be sitting inside the tent. I mean, why listen to it? Why not have it outside and shove it through the wall? That's the whole idea for me. And I could cut all this stuff out and just do a shorter video and know everything, but you guys are going to suffer through this with me. This must go on to here. No. Maybe. I can just attach that to there with some screws. We'll see, but I would think that this is supposed to go inside so it looks pretty. But that doesn't fit on there. That does not fit on there either. So first things first, let's cut 2 9 7/8 blocks. I might as well make those green treated so that no matter what, it can get wet or whatever. Let's see how tight does this bend. Drain hole down. Okay, so let's get that put on there. Let's see if this is in. They do have a little slot here for you to get a screwdriver down for these. What I think I'm going to do, because it'd be so much easier to transport this, is just do them both on the same size. I mean, I can have the exhaust over here and fresh air over here somewhere. And, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not like any of the air gets inside. You have to keep in mind, I want this heater to be outside of the building for 2 reasons. One, I don't want to have to fill it up with diesel inside of the building. And second of all, I don't want to hear it. Even though they're probably pretty quiet, I still don't want to hear it. I just want it to be outside. Even because there's no chance, you can have this inside as long as this is going outside. There's no chance of carbon monoxide. It's a completely sealed combustion chamber. There's no chance of getting carbon monoxide in the building. So you can safely just put these in your car or wherever if you haven't vented right. So I just want you guys to know that I'm not doing it for any safety reasons. I don't want to hear it. And I can remember going ice fishing with my dad when I was a kid. And we had a, I mean, it wasn't a diesel heater like this. It was just a stove on the wall, and it had the tank in the back. You'd pour it in. It was like a drip heater. And you'd walk into that fish house, it always smelled exactly the same. It smelled like fish and kerosene. So I know that I would spill diesel trying to fill it, and I don't want to do an exterior tank because I want this to be mobile. I want to be able to use it in more than one place, even though they're cheap enough to buy one and put in either place. I mean, these things are cheap. So I do something like that, and I even think it has, I guess that kind of makes it fun with these. You can customize them how you want them. There, I've got my exhaust right here. I've got my intake right here for the motor. I mean, it wouldn't even matter if the wind was blowing this way and a little bit of exhaust got in here, since this is completely airtight in there, it wouldn't matter. So I think that's pretty good. I wouldn't mind being able to just, I might do that, push it up and strap it to the handle when I'm transporting, just so this isn't dangling out. I just asked Zachary if he runs his in his garage off of a car battery, and no, he's got one of these AC to DC converters. Wouldn't one of my batteries that I have do the same thing? The solar power stations should be able to hook this up. I don't know how you'd plug that in though. I'll have to take a look. Well, it comes with this cable, or just two wires, red to red, black to black. And this end I've got to get going to some sort of a 12-volt power supply. Well, it's a couple days later and I'm back out here in the workshop on the SILVEL Diesel Heater. And I couldn't get it to work with my power station. And I think I was trying to use this thing, and I just don't think that it runs enough. It's supposed to have 12 volt, 15 amp, and this definitely is not that. I couldn't get it to work with this. It actually came on for a second, kind of, and then it was real faint. The board was. So then I grabbed this battery that I took out of Brandon's car, if you guys watched, maybe it was the last video, and just shoved the wires in there and it worked. See, I just need to get to see how it works here, because when I get up to the tent, I can hook it up to the shower battery until I get the correct hookup to hook into one of my power banks, which is what I really want to do, because I think that's the way to go. So I don't know how good you can see that, but now we have a nice bright screen. It must have an app, because it's picking up the internet in here very strongly. So I don't remember seeing anything about an app for it, but that would be sweet. I'll have to look that up. So anyway, another thing that I have, you know how I want to put this outside and not have it inside the building? My other problem is that I would have to fix with that, like if I do it for the fish house heater, is this line is only this long. You know, it goes back in, but I would want to have this on the inside, because I'm sure this is what is sensing the temperature. I highly doubt that it's the remote. So I would have to probably put connectors on the wires, and then add onto this one and have connectors so you could just shove it through and plug it in. But that's minor. Right now I just want to see how it works, and the fun part is figuring out all the little modifications you can do to make it work for your situation. And people can complain that, hey, this thing is made in China. There isn't pretty much anything that you are using today that isn't, parts of it are made in China. If we didn't have China, we wouldn't have nothing. We wouldn't have anything here. I mean, you really have to rethink that. No idea. Oh, that's all. Huh. Tells me that the fan's going. I've got my handy nail holder, diesel fuel holder. I'm thinking I better do the initial burn outside because you know it's going to be burning all kind of crap off, so I don't want it to let it run for more than just 30 seconds. I think you might have to prime these things. I have no idea. Timing on, oh yeah, let's see. Putting out some nice heat. And it's not like I smell diesel fuel out here either, like when I start my truck. That's really some warm heat. Just shut it off. I like it, I really do. I'd like to have a few of these things actually. I'm interested to see how much fuel it burns, and it's supposed to burn very minimal fuel, use very minimal electricity or battery power after initial fire up. I shut it off, so I suppose it's just going to blow through the air until it shuts down. Man, that's some hot air. It just ran that fan for, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes, and then it shut down. So now we're off. Very cool. I'm going to unhook this, bring it into the workshop, and then tomorrow is when I got to get everything ready for deer hunting, because I'm going up the next day, and then we will play with it some more up there. Well, I made it up to the tent, brought the diesel heater up here with me. 28 degrees outside, 23 degrees inside. Just got the wood stove going in here. I want to see if I can get that vent through that back wall and fire that diesel heater up. What are you doing? You looking for some food? Huh? I don't got no snacks yet. She's fired up. Well, we'll let that run for a while. Takes a while for it to really, I mean, it's blowing out warm air, but when I did it at the house, it took a little bit for it to get really hot. And if I set this up, I would definitely want the intake to come from inside the tent, and then this blow into the tent, and then insulate this. Not bad right now when it's 28 degrees, but if it was 20 below zero, that would help a lot. This thing works really neat. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching. I ran this from between 3 and 4 hours today, and after about 10 minutes it really starts heating up, and it heated that whole part of the tent up very, very nice. Even my dad was over here and he put his hand in front of that vent and he was surprised. He's looking for some kind of a heater to put in his garage and his house, so if he's doing small little projects he would have some heat, but the little electric heaters don't put out enough. This puts out plenty. He would like to put it like right underneath a little workbench, and that would really heat it up nice. I was really impressed, and when Zach comes up on Monday we'll play around with it more so I know how to do the adjustments on it for, it wouldn't have to be that hot, and what that little panel says on it. It does come with the remote control, so you don't have to be right there to, you can turn it on and off and up and down. And because Zachary has used one for, a whole year now, so he'll know more. But yeah, my first diesel heater, and I'm totally impressed. I'd like to have one here at the tent. I want to get one for the fish house camper, and then I would like to have one that you just had, just like an encase. They're cheap to buy, and I think they're good to have. They're just so efficient. I will put links that they sent me in the description so you guys could take a look at this. Like I said, I have no complaints. The only thing that I had was the directions could have been better, but anything that I've watched for videos or read online, the directions are never really good. And it just takes a little time to get used to, and once I got it fired up, it worked just great. You'll see me using it in other videos, but now it's just going to be integrated in, just something I'm using. And I'm excited to put one in the fish house. Melissa is still kind of unsure because I'm going to have to cut a hole in the side of the fish house, but I just think that that's the way to go. And if you're on like one of the Ice Castle fish house sites, a lot of people are putting those in, and they just swear by them. I will see you guys on the next video.